Hi everyone, this is B, and today's blog is actually inspired by a recent experience that my oldest daughter had with a former place of employment. She decided after about 6 months of working at her very first job that it was best for her to let it go because she wanted to focus on college and she wanted to focus on her baking business. She was a little bit apprehensive about turning in her resignation because she had witnessed so many times before at her workplace where it was primarily college students and high school students that worked there. Anytime someone would turn in their resignation, well, they would immediately dismiss them right then, or they would just send them a text and say, hey, just don't come back in. But then there were some that they would allow to complete their 2 weeks. We encouraged her to go ahead and type up her letter, to do everything professionally and turn in her resignation. After all, she was a good worker. She came in on time. She stayed late whenever they needed to, and if they needed her to come in and help out with another shift, she was always available to do that. Well, needless to say, she turned in her resignation on Friday, and on top of turning in her resignation, she also wrote additional letters to her different shift managers and the owner of the establishment to let them know that she really was appreciative of the opportunity and how grateful she was for all of the things that she learned while she was there. The next day, when she came into work, she was pulled aside by one of the managers who told her that the owner had actually offered her the ability to stay and work at an establishment that was closer to where we lived, because where she worked at was about 20 minutes away. And when she first started working there, they actually told her, okay, well, once you get trained, we'll put you at the one in the county that you're in so you'll be closer to home. But after she started working there, of course, she was told that they didn't have any openings, it wasn't the right time, they really needed her there. And so it went from, if you stay, we'll give you a spot that's closer to you. But then, of course, she told him, she said, look, I just really want to focus on school. I really want to focus on my baking business. And he told her after that, just don't come back, we're going to have to let you go. When you work at an establishment and you give them your all, and then you turn around and give them the courtesy of giving them a 2-week notice for them to turn around and kind of spit it back in your face, it doesn't feel good when you're leaving. I want to encourage the young people, because I have a heart for young people. I have a heart for empowering them and educating them to keep it professional, even if you've got these high-end corporations and these business owners that are supposed to set the example but don't necessarily live by the example. According to jobsearch.com, etiquette includes providing your employer with a 2-week notice. But it gives this clause in here. If it's typical for your employer to ask you to leave immediately after you turned in your resignation, you may want to rethink that. And they said that it's kind of like a catch-22. There are 2 things that you would want to do: not give them a notice at all and just quit once you know that you're in the position to be able to quit. But they suggest that you do that if you do not plan on using that particular employer as a reference later on in life. For those of you who find yourself in a position of, you know what, I really do need to resign from this job, but I know if I turn in my resignation, chances are they're going to ask me to leave, or they're just going to cut me off. This is what I suggest you do. Before turning in your notice, prepare yourself financially and mentally for them making that said move. Make sure that your bills are taken care of. Make sure that your expenses are covered, just in case they do tell you, okay, go ahead and leave the premises the moment that you turn in your resignation. Typically, when you are in orientation, when you first start a job, they go over everything with you, and then they go over their expectations should you have to quit. And most employers will let you know ahead of time whether or not they would prefer a 2-week notice if you decide that this is not the place for you. If that's something that is not addressed during the orientation, then you may want to just kind of read up on that and pay attention to how they handle that around there. So this is my message to those of you who are business owners, who are managers, who are over these major corporations. Treat your employees like they're human. They're not your children. They're not your puppets. They're your employees. They're people. They have families. They have responsibilities. They have obligations. And sometimes things in life comes up that may prevent them from being able to continue working with your establishment. You treat people like you would want to be treated. And if you have an employee that is willing to give you the courtesy of giving you 2-week notice so that you can come in and make sure that you've got someone to cover their spot, then honor that. And if you have to immediately let them go, explain that to them. And if you have a high turnover rate, if you're noticing that you're hiring people and they're quitting within months afterwards, then maybe you need to go back and look at how your employees feel while they're there. Good job resignation etiquette includes you providing your employer with a 2-week notice. Just because they may not be professional does not mean you should not maintain your professionalism. Continue to make the choices that you know are going to be a proper reflection of your character and your standard. Even if they don't do it, you continue to maintain your standard. You continue to hold your head up high and continue to pursue all of your goals and dreams in life without wavering. This has been B. Mac Wrights. I hope this has been a blessing for you all. Have a great day. Bye-bye.